So I'm out here today. I'm going to make pizza, Whole Foods plant-based pizza. It's one of those things I miss, and it's my birthday and I'm gonna make it. I really like this recipe for the different flavors that it has in it, and it had a lot of good reviews. This is from Forks Over Knives. It's made out of a homemade pizza dough. I'm gonna use a whole grain flour, so I'm gonna use a dark rye. It's gonna take, for the pizza crust itself, it will take the flour, the yeast. I'm not using sugar, but that's a chopped date that I will be using for the sugar in it that feeds the yeast, that makes the dough rise, and a little bit of water. And one other thing here was salt. Okay, those are the ingredients. It is a no oil whole grain pizza crust, and it is absolutely delicious. It's actually a pretty fast one. They say to let it rise about 10 minutes using the active fast rising yeast. My yeast might not work quite that well because I don't think it's fast rising. So we'll see. It'll be a flat crust. Anyway, for the sauce that goes on this pizza, it's gonna be made out of, they say to use beans, like cannelloni beans, something like that. I'm gonna use chickpea flour because it will be a little bit smoother, easier to make this sauce. It will also have a little bit of red wine vinegar, a little bit of tahini, some Dijon mustard. Spices will be, they would like you to use, and I would if I had them, fresh basil and thyme, but I'm gonna use the equivalent of dried basil and thyme. I'll use a little salt and pepper in this. And I'm gonna use some, these are my lemon cubes that I juiced and then froze in my freezer. So I'm gonna take a couple of those. Each one of these are about 2 tablespoons. So depending on how much I need in the sauce, I'll use these and just thaw them out in the warm water or microwave for a few minutes, and however much I need for this recipe. So that is my lemon. And I also have grated garlic, so I'll just take the equivalent of a clove of garlic. I prepared this ahead of time, and I'll use it for this recipe to make it go a little smoother and faster. And then for the veggies on top, it's gonna be a combination of the chopped spinach, the peppers, the onions, the tomatoes. And since I don't have any sun-dried tomatoes on hand or olives, I'm gonna use a little bit of my fermented veggies. They have a really nice flavor. I'm gonna chop them up a little bit more and put them on top of this pizza. It is going to be delicious. When I make the pizza crust in this case, what they say is cook it in the oven for about 8 minutes or so, bring it out, put your sauce, put your toppings on it, and then cook it the rest of the way and it will be done. Okay, see how it goes. I'm just getting ready to assemble this pizza. You can see on here on the cutting board, I have the chopped greens, onions, peppers, tomatoes, and these are the fermented vegetables that were in the jar that I said I was gonna use in place of the olives and sun-dried tomatoes because I didn't have them, but I did have regular tomatoes, so we'll use that. There's my pizza crust dough. I just baked it for 8 minutes. It did rise nicely, and then I spread it out, and it's pre-baked for 8 minutes, and then we're gonna put all those toppings on and bake it again for another 8 to 10 minutes. Here's the sauce that we'll be using. It's very delicious, and I think it could be used either as a hummus, maybe make it a little bit thicker with a little bit more garbanzo flour, or you could thin it out and use it as a dressing. It's absolutely delicious, and I think it's what really probably makes this pizza. So that's what it looks like with everything on it. I think it's beautiful. My husband Larry said that. It's kind of funny. I said it was a pretty pizza, and it is. So it's going in the oven another 8 to 10 minutes. Okay, it's hot out of the oven, but I have to point something out. I did change pans so that my crust, this is a pizza pan, you can see it has some holes in it, so that the crust on the bottom could get done, because I forgot to cook it as long as it said for the first round, which was supposed to be 15 minutes. I think I only cooked it for 6 or 8. So then I put the toppings on, and then I needed to cook it another 20 minutes. So I did it partly on that stoneware cookie sheet that I had, and then I switched it halfway through to this pizza pan, so the bottom could get done, and it'll make it just a little bit more firm, crispy crust. This should be delicious.